All right, let's talk about the global AI race. I know, it's a story you think you know, but everything is changing, and it's happening faster than anyone can keep up with. So, what if I told you that simple two-horse race you've been hearing about? Yeah, that's already over.
When you think about who's winning, you probably picture the same thing everyone does, right? The US and China, these two giants just battling it out. Well, I'm here to tell you that picture, it's totally obsolete. We're in a whole new world now, a multipolar reality that's way more complex and, honestly, a lot more unpredictable.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The rules of this whole game have completely changed. And look, this isn't just some high-level geopolitical stuff that you read about in headlines. No, this directly affects everyone. The tech you use, the tools on your phone, even the price you pay for them. It's all being shaped by this competition. It's a global game for sure, but the consequences are hitting us right here at home. So, the race has changed. But to really get a handle on what the AI landscape looks like as we head into 2026, we actually have to go back a bit. Because just a year ago, the story was totally different. So what happened? How did we get here?
For the longest time, the story was pretty simple, right? The US was the undisputed leader in innovation, pushing the frontier, and pretty much everyone else was just playing catch-up. That was the accepted truth. But then, something happened. Insiders call it the DeepSeek freakout. All it took was one Chinese company releasing a single AI model, a model so powerful and so advanced that it sent these massive shockwaves through the entire industry. And just like that, the old story was shattered.
I want you to just think about this number for a second. $600 billion. That's how much value was wiped off Nvidia's market cap in a single day, right after DeepSeek dropped its R1 model. I mean, this was way more than just a financial shock. This was the wake-up call. It was proof right there in the numbers that this race was absolutely not a done deal. A new player had just stepped onto the field and shown they could compete with the very best.
So that DeepSeek freakout really was the turning point. It was this massive signal that China wasn't just following the leader anymore. Nope. They were now genuine innovators, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and get this, even developing things the West hadn't managed to do yet.
And you know, this quote from Demis Hassabis, the CEO of Google DeepMind, it just perfectly sums up the old way of thinking in the West. He said, "The question is, can they innovate something new beyond the frontier? I don't think that's been shown yet. The whole assumption was that China could copy, sure, but they couldn't create something brand new at the cutting edge. Well, as we just saw, that assumption has been completely blown out of the water."
The whole mindset was that China was a follower, right? Just copying Western models, competing on price. But the reality now? China is an innovator. They're pushing the technical boundaries and creating brand new features. The shift has been just incredibly fast.
And look, this isn't just about that one DeepSeek model. We're seeing this whole wave of real innovation. I mean, take something like Seed Dance 2.0. This thing can generate sound and video at the same time. That's a technical leap Western models haven't made yet. Or how about Z.AI's Pony Alpha? It's built for what they call agentic workflows. Basically, it's designed for an AI that can think for itself, plan, and carry out complex tasks all on its own. These aren't copies, people. These are brand new capabilities.
Okay, so the race for the best model is heating up. But that's really just one piece of this giant puzzle. The competition is now exploding onto totally new battlegrounds. We're talking about everything from the chips that power AI to the physical infrastructure that holds it all up. This really lays out the new reality. It's a full-on, multi-front war. You've got the US and China going head-to-head on models, on hardware, and, maybe most importantly, on access to chips. I mean, think about it. Controlling the supply of those super advanced chips is just as important as having the smartest model. Every single one of these battlegrounds is absolutely critical if you want to win in the long run.
So it's all about the US and China, right? Well, maybe not. The US-China rivalry is definitely the main event, but it's not the only story. There's another player making some very big, very strategic moves, and they're positioning themselves to be a major power. We're talking about the UAE. They are making an incredibly bold play here. Through their big G42 initiative, they're pouring billions of dollars into becoming a kind of neutral AI superpower. Their whole strategy is to be the trustworthy third party for all the other countries caught in the middle of the US and China. And how are they doing it? Through something called data center diplomacy. They're building massive digital infrastructure, like a new billion-dollar data center in Vietnam, to build influence and open up new markets. It's a huge gamble, for sure, but if it pays off, it could completely redraw the global AI map.
And believe it or not, this whole strategy of using infrastructure to gain influence isn't just happening on the ground. The AI race is now reaching for the stars, and I mean that literally. The next great frontier for this competition is space itself, with both the US and China seriously looking at building huge data centers in orbit.
It's funny. When Elon Musk first floated the idea of a data center in space, the reaction in the West was pretty much derision. People laughed it off, called it science fiction. But China? They didn't laugh. They took it incredibly seriously. In fact, they announced their own ambitious, state-funded plan to build an orbital data center, a crystal-clear signal that they intend to dominate this new frontier.
And now you're seeing that tune change in the West. People are taking this idea way more seriously. The big concern, which the Wall Street Journal pointed out, is that, yeah, the tech challenges are huge for everybody, but the real danger is that political squabbling in the US could hamstring its own development, basically handing a massive head start to a very focused and determined China. Okay, so, a new space race, a war over computer chips. What does any of this have to do with you? Well, it turns out it has a lot to do with you. All these global chess moves are directly shaping the AI tools you use, and they're even having an impact right in your own backyard.
Let's talk about the fight over data centers. You hear about it in the news, and it's always framed as this super divisive political issue. But when you look at the actual numbers, the reality is a little more nuanced. Yeah, some people on both sides of the aisle, about 32% of Democrats and 25% of Republicans, oppose building one in their community, and they have real concerns. But a larger group, 43%, are either not opposed or actually positive about it, probably because they see the potential for new jobs and economic growth.
So here's the bottom line. This global AI race is this deeply interconnected thing. A decision made in Beijing or in DC, heck, even a decision made by your local town council can send ripples across the entire industry. And that affects everything, from how much your favorite AI app costs to how powerful it is. It creates this whole new level of uncertainty, where access to a key technology could just disappear overnight because of a new policy.
So, the new AI race is here. It's messy, it's complex, it's unpredictable. It's way beyond a simple two-horse race now. It's a global scramble. And that leaves us with a pretty big question. It's not just about who's going to cross the finish line first. It's about what kind of world they're going to build when they get there. And is anyone really ready for that?